Hey everybody, Eli Stansel, the Gwinnett Rambler here with an April 2021 update on the Rowen project and what I've known and discovered thus far. First thing I'd like to mention, next week, April 29th from 6:30 to 7:45 p.m., Rowen is hosting an information session. It'll be at the C3 Church in Lawrenceville. You can also attend online virtually. I've got that link down below in the comments, so if that's something you'd be interested in, please dial into that, get signed up for it. Tickets are free, and it's worth hearing what's going on with the project. Second thing, I recently had the opportunity to go visit with Mr. Dwight and Miss Eloise Williams, longtime residents of the area. When Mr. Dwight was courting Miss Eloise, he would travel by the old Hills Mill site, and I thought I'd share a couple little tidbits that they had shared with me when we visited with them last week.
When I was courting Eloise, there was a road, it cut off just before what the original truss was a little closer to 29. You know, they built another one where they got this switching yard down there now.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was courting Eloise, I would go down, instead of going all the way down to the Sims Ridge, you know, through there, I'd cut through that little road there back this side of the stream.
Yeah.
And of course, all I remember about the mill down there, it was all dilapidated in bad shape. It wasn't being used no more, you know. And right above it, I wish I could remember the man's name that lived there in that house. But one time, back then, radiator, and I left the water out of the old home house, my car there, 51 parked in the yard. I left the water out of that. It happened to come up a little cool spell. Well, I was courting Eloise, so I went out there that evening and got in that car, and I drove all the way over there. It's up the hill, just a little bit where the old mill set, was a house, and I can't remember that man's name. He's just an ICB, but anyhow, he had a regular well, you know, like you used to have. And he drove me a bucket of water up, and I poured it in that car and went on over the hill to Eloise's over there. He drove me a bucket of water. He just had a well, a dug well. He drove a bucket of water and poured it, and I had 51 poured one in there with. Yeah, that black poured, you know, I got it.
Which side was the mill on? You said the mill
It was on the upper side of, on this side.
So this side of the river?
This side.
Okay. That makes sense. I hope you enjoyed those tidbits from the Williamses the same way that I did. It was a wonderful experience to be a part of. Since they mentioned the Hills Mill site, I was able a couple of weeks ago to be a part of a virtual conference where we talked with the Rowen Foundation, Webb and Associates, who do archaeological historical surveying, with some other archaeologists, as well as with the Gwinnett County Department of Water Resources about the actual site. And it was a wonderful experience. We got the chance to see that this mill site is very special to Gwinnett County, and I'm going to let you hear a couple of the words from a few of those folks there.
Well, the only other thing I wanted to say was that, you know, regarding the significance, the National Register eligibility of this property, is that if I'm understanding the fact that it was constructed around 1815 or maybe a little earlier or somewhere in that era, and then it continued into the 1920s possibly or whatever, then we're basically covering much of the historic content, the period for historic hydro milling in Georgia. So I mean, this site covers the whole range pretty much, from pioneer days all the way up till you know, maybe the boll weevil took us out or whatever.
So as you heard, the Hills Mill site's really important as far as cataloging the cultural and the historical significance of the area, and also gives a picture of the history of the hydro milling that occurred throughout Georgia from colonial days up until the time of the early 20th century. So really, really neat. We'll hope we continue to see preservation in that spot. Okay, I often reach out and ask for things. Here's a couple of items I'm going to ask for. If you know anything about these topics, please reach out to me and let me know. In the research that I've been doing kind of up and down the Apalachee in this area, come across some places that I'm not super familiar with. I'm hoping that y'all be able to help and point me in the right direction. One of the transcripts that I came across dealing with court records at the time, criminal evidence where people are making witnesses, are describing moving around the mill and the bridges and the creeks in the area, and they talk about going by Blakeney's store, B-L-A-K-E-N-E-Y-S or N-Y-S. It's transcribed a couple different ways. If you know about any Blakeneys or Blakeneys in the area, and if they possibly ran a store in the 1880s, 1890s, somewhere in that time frame, would love to hear something about it. Maybe we can get that cataloged and made part of this effort. The Gwinnett historical newspapers, in there's an advertisement where they're going to replace McClung's old bridge over the Apalachee. I believe that to be where Lawrence Road, which is Lawrenceville, the old Lawrenceville Road, crosses the Apalachee. It's now called Brown's Bridge Road on the other side. You've heard me refer to it that way before, that it went up toward the Bettstown community in that area. So if you know any McClungs from that area, or you have a history or know some stories about McClung's Bridge, that would be worthwhile noting as well. Another item that we've come across that really speaks to the early nature of this section is some canals. There are deeds that exist showing that canals were dug by Mr. Dodd in the area below Lawrenceville Road before 1850, probably in the 1830s, 1840s time range. So there were some canals that were, at least two of them, dug in that area, down below that bottom between the mouth of Browning Creek, probably all the way back up Lawrenceville Bridge, somewhere in that stretch. So there's some chances that there may be another unique feature that we can save or at least catalog down there. So if you know anything about Dodd's Canals, Blakeney's store, or McClung's Bridge, would love to hear about it, pictures, any of that type of stuff. Again, thanks for tuning in for this update. I want to thank Mr. and Ms. Williams. They were so kind and gracious to let us come over and just have a bit of a conversation with them. If you haven't, please sign up for the Rowen Project's website. They'll send updates out, and next week, April 29th, that evening, you'll have the opportunity to hear more about the project, either in person or virtually. So please go and sign up for that. Again, the link will be down there below so that you'll be able to click on it and sign up. Until the next time we get to talk, hope you enjoy my other videos. If you have any feedback, let me know. I'm Eli Stansel, the Gwinnett Rambler.